Hello, how's everyone? I have an exciting class. This is going to be an exciting class, okay? Because it went really far. I got this new comb. Can you believe it? I never saw anything like it. But I was figuring like when I comb it sometimes, I don't want any of my hair to get into because the way my hair is, it pulls it out if it's too small. So anyway, I love this comb. And I decided also I'm gonna get it. When I was in New York City, I lived in New York City for a long time, and we had this dashikis, that they would wear, and you put it over. You could buy it. They did it in the '60s too, but I was living in New York in my '30s, and they used to have a dashiki. While you're growing your hair, you put the dashiki on, and I'm gonna do that too. So you're gonna see me with the dashiki. I'm almost sure it's called a dashiki. But anyway, now I wanted to tell you that today is going to be a very exciting class because of the movement that we're going into. Okay. The lighting seems to be all right. It's kind of going in and out. I don't know if it's this lamp or what. But anyway, I think it's all right though. Okay. Like I said, it's going to be an exciting class because we're building on everything that we've covered in the past YouTubes. And this lesson is going to be on let's see, continue building our language, our S squared language. We're calling it S squared. Space, S is for space, okay? And we're dealing with all spaces that are squared, okay? So, building on our S squared language, and I usually bring out 3 points. The next one is cleaning up functions. I'm sorry, the light is doing something because it's very bad outside. It's gloomy outside, and I kind of like have the lights in a different way. Okay, so I don't know. It just seems like it's gonna be funky lighting for now, like they used to do in the '60s or '70s. So then we're cleaning up functions, and then after cleaning up functions, I got a surprise at the end. I'm not going to talk about it yet. Um, After cleaning up functions, we're going to talk about memory. Okay. So let's get right into the building on our language. You know that we were working with squared. Okay. And I showed the pattern that we basically been working with, like the on the corners, the one in the center. So, but there's something that we have to do because I said it's like a city, like when you go visit a city, okay, or when you go to a new place, you look at everything and how everything is, and do you want to go here, do you want to go there, oh that's beautiful, or this is beautiful. But the squares are like that too. Each one has its own characteristics, each square. But they do have a base. We're going to talk about that too. As far as squares are concerned, we're talking about squares, and a lot of people don't realize, but when you talk about squares, you're talking about squares, okay? Um, so, okay. So, one thing that I wanted to do is to build on the language. Okay. We're still going to do the squared. Okay. But now we need to learn more about the direction. Okay. Because you don't know which direction you have to go to. The square has 4 sides, okay? Each square has 4 sides, and each square, I'm gonna tell you by the numbers. 2 squared, 3 squared, 4 squared, 5 squared, 6 squared are all 1. That's what we call it as far as space is concerned. Because say if you're we're using dancing because it's a dance without music, and that what helps us keep everything together. Although it's aiding you in putting your things together as far as your space is concerned, and your mind and your body is concerned. Um, okay, so what was I saying about the square? So the square, everything is a square. Okay, everything. Oh, the reason why I wanted to say that all the squares are one, and I'm sorry for the lighting, but it's to me, I like to think it's funky. Um, if you go into a room or if you're doing a dance and you use, let's just say, you're using squared. Okay, there's no lines. Okay, nothing to tell you this space, this space, this space, this space, this space. All the lines are up here in your formula when you do the functions. Okay, so it's one. You see it as one. So every square is one. Okay. So now we're going to put things together. It's not so much rules, but we're strengthening our language. Okay. We learned how to do patterns, and we did patterns in the squared. We did patterns, but now I want to talk about more perceiving things. Remember when I said that two? I'm gonna use numbers, okay? Let's just do it this way because I don't want to use numbers. Let's say squared, which is Okay, we talk about patterns now. How I know what I want to say, but I wanted to put you there in a different way. Okay. I gotta see how I want to initiate this this thing I'm going to tell you because it's a little bit different. Okay, so I just have to go ahead and do it. Okay, um, we're gonna do direction. Okay, we talked about the patterns and how things are in a pattern. Okay, as far as the square is concerned. Now we have to know something about. Okay, this is what I wanted to say. The perceiving. Okay, now I know how I wanted to say because I wanted to draw you into this so that you can connect it. Okay, so I want to use this example that we've used before. We use times which is okay, that's the way we've been doing it because I'm gonna use numbers now. Remember I told you 2 times 3 and 3 times 2 is totally different. Okay, it's very important that you know that because 2 is the subject, like times 3 is what we're going to do. We're going to take 2 and times it 3 times. Okay, I can say it a different way, but you need to know it that way first. The thing that kind of the tricky way first, okay? Because it's a change. Because you've always been taught that 2 times 3 and 3 times 2 is the same thing. But what makes it different is the perception, okay? Because I'm strengthening your perception of the numbers of the. When I say real numbers, I don't mean anything like they say in mathematics. I'm talking about of numbers without symbols, which I call real numbers. Okay. So if I say 2 times 3, you know 2 is the subject, and 3 is how many times. Or this is the way I would say it is times would be going down. Okay, okay. If I say three, I'm sorry, times would be okay. So it's going down, but it's like that. It's longer. Okay, okay. When the other one goes down, the other one goes this way. So the only difference you see is when you perceive of the numbers. You don't have symbols, so you don't have to say two. In your mind, this is what your mind says. This is what your mind does, and it does it each time. And unless you play with your mind and you mess it up. I'm saying it is messed up because as far as your communication is concerned, if you do it differently, if you change your mind, which is it would be painful, and you don't, and some people don't care, but what I'm trying to say is, like, when they do these things because they want to do it even though it's not the right way. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that, let me keep going because I'm losing that point, going off on tangents. Okay, so we got the times which is the times is okay. So the perceiving, this is what I want to stick on to, is when you perceive the number. Okay, I know what we were saying. We were saying that because the numbers are confusing, symbols are confusing, your mind, what I was saying is that your mind has to go look at the symbol and then translate it into sound and then understand it mostly, okay? You can change that, but you don't want to do that, okay? Most people don't. They're smart. They just leave it like that and say, I can't do it. Just wise, okay? Okay, so taking away symbols, we know that I said it twice. I said it twice. It's not a symbol, it represents a number. And it is a number as far as the sound is concerned, but it's very close to it, but it's not the number. It's is not the number. It's that I said it twice is the number. I said it this many times, and I want you to see it. So what I'm trying to say is we're building up the perception of what a number is. So I'm saying okay. So when you see it, you can see that I said which is squared. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is that you're going to get to the point to where you can perceive something without paper. And not, I mean, paper, we're going to have to, you have to, with mathematics, you do have to strengthen your ability to perceive patterns, to perceive, in this case, space, okay? Spaces, okay? So now I'm getting into the direction, okay? So we have, remember that we said that a square has four, everybody knows that a square has four sides. It also has four corners. In perceiving something, it's nuances. It's the mind wants to know everything, the exact thing, okay? So that it can adapt it to everything else. It can put it in together with everything else. If something's off, it's going to notice it and it's going to keep it that way, but it will always notice it, okay? So now, what I'm saying is that we're perceiving, we're starting to do, okay, we were saying about the way the square was, okay? It has four sides. It has a side, a side, a side, and a side, okay? We were saying that you perceive it, but you have a, how can I say? These two words are coming together with me too closely, which means something. we have a perception and a okay, we'll get to that point. So we have a top, we have a bottom, because we're looking at it most likely this way. We have a top of the square, we have a bottom of the, but really it's just four sides, okay? But I'm saying I want to get out of the top, bottom, but it's there for now. So we have a top, a bottom, we have, we don't say left and right, definitely. We have one side and the other side. If you have your quadrant, you can say, but this is, I can't put the quadrant with this because it's not with it actually. So I'm not going to say other and right, okay? Because we're just dealing with perception. But anyway, we have to differentiate in some way, okay, without saying top and bottom. Without saying top and bottom, we're going to have to differentiate, but it will come, okay? But for now, we have the top, the bottom, one side, and I mean, one side, we can't say one side and the other side, okay? We have the corners, we have this corner, corners, okay? We have sides, okay? Now, the thing about what that I want to strengthen in our perception is that I want to start our in all directions. First, we're going to start with the one that we always start with, which is going from this side to that side. Okay, you can say that side to this side or this side to that side. Okay, whatever. So we're going to do that with the square. So we have So that's me perceiving it. You can't see my perception. At least not yet. But the way I say it later, I'm not going to go there. Okay. So then, now we're going to go to the top. This will get us used to any direction. Okay. And it's going to help you because we have a surprise at the end. So now we're going to the top and go down. Okay. Top. Okay, but there's one more point, okay? There's one more thing I have to do. Okay, there's one more thing I have to do with the going this way. We have to start, let me see, do we have to start at the bottom and go up? Yes, we have to start at the bottom and go up. Before I was going, now I'm going to go back up. Start going up, not going up and then going down. But I'm starting at the bottom and then going up and going that way. So okay. I counted the spaces. Now we're going to go at the top and do the same thing. And this is going to help us to understand and perceive better, okay? So let's start from this way, going this way. Then we're going to stop and then go this way and this way. We're not going to go this way and then come back this way. It's a big deal. Like I said, nuances. Very big deal in the mind. So here we go. So what happens if you make a mistake? It doesn't make a difference. If you, because that's one thing good about the mind. It's going to say, wait, correction, and it's going to correct what you wanted. So it's not a really big deal in the beginning because you're gonna keep doing it. So it's going to work itself out. And that's one thing, because everything is connected with this. So that's where you don't have to really worry about so many things. So let's go to the other side. So if I say, even though I'm almost sure I'll do 5 because I've been doing this so long, but if I make a mistake and do 6, it's not a big deal because I know I'm doing 5s and it's going to correct itself. I'm not going to do it all the time. Mistakes are good, okay? So, I'm going down, but going this way. Uh, 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 Okay, so now I'm going to go this way, up to down. Uh, 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 okay. Now I'm going to take a little break and then go up the same way. You don't go down and then go back up. Then you're talking about something different. Okay. If I go down and I come right back up, it's something different. Because then you may have to do just don't worry about it. Just do it like I said, okay? I already been there. I already did those mistakes, okay? But we're going to use that with something else. Okay, so now going up. Okay, now we have one more to do. That's going to be then we'll be finished with our building of the language, okay? Because we got a lot of experience so far. And another thing too, we did that and it will process. So like I said, be careful with your processing, especially if you never did it before, okay? Be careful with your process. If it's too much for you, stop and do it some other time, okay? But you will know that if it bugs you in any kind of way, just don't do it. You have to learn how to let it go. Letting it go is very important. And no pressure. No pressure. If you're under pressure, don't even do anything. Don't put yourself under pressure. We have a lot of times. There's so many things to learn. Okay, we've been doing this for. I could say I've been doing this for 3 years. This lesson, and we didn't stress out about anything. When I couldn't do it, I just stopped. When I couldn't do that walking the square, I stopped for 4 months. I guess 4 months. Okay, now we're going to start from this side going up. Okay. This side going up, and then we're going to do this side. Okay. Okay. And now we're going to wait a little bit and then go back the other way. But if you do too many times or you can't see how many times, just don't worry about it, okay? Just don't worry about it and wait until you can do it. That's all. We're not going to start with lower squares because they're wore out. The reason why I don't start with squared is because it's worn out. Your mind has did 2 plus 2 is 4 so many times, okay? And you need to move on. We have to move on, okay? So now let's go back, up, and then the other way. Okay, and that word is coming to me. I never had any problem with that word, but there's something happening. The meaning of the word, that's what I'm trying to say. Because I'm getting perception. Okay, that's what it is. Perception and perceiving. Those 2 words, I could tell that there's a development happening. Because perception and, okay, and I'm not talking about the dictionary form. I'm talking about the words as far as Dance Without Music is concerned. So I'm saying those 2 meanings. I'm not saying the words so much. Perception and perceiving are doing some